Gabriel Rench. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, man. Let's do this.
Dude, this is fun. Okay, so literally a year ago today,
That's right.
you
That's
were
right.
you were a Presbyterian was preaching in a Baptist pulpit.
And no one knew except for me and you.
Yeah, well, no, I think after you got done, I was like, y'all liked him, and they're like, yeah, amen. I was like, he's a Presbyterian. Everybody's like, they loved it. It was fantastic. I was like, see,
Yeah.
they're as awesome as you think they are.
It's okay.
It's great. It's fantastic, man. It's been a minute. How is the world of Gabe Rench and Fight Laugh Feast and all the exciting things you all are doing?
Yeah, it's so funny. Like I'm 46. I'll be 47 this summer. I don't even know how old you are. I think you're close to me, right? How
I
old are you?
am 47 presently, and I will be
There you go.
48 in November.
Yeah.
So
And you got grandkids.
I got one.
Yeah.
Coulter will be here any day now. Like
Wow.
we're
That's
like
amazing.
we're counting down the days, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, can't wait.
So
Can't
same
wait.
age, but you're wiser than me. But
Little gray in my
when,
beard.
yeah. When most people ask me that question right now in this time, like how are things going, that kind of thing. Really, like I'm working hard. I got a lot going. We got Business Makers Network and the conference coming up. I got Pango Media, my PR agency. I got Cross Politic and the Fight Laugh Feast conference. So I got a lot going. I'm also got a consulting contract with Westwind, the company that you guys are working with too,
Yeah, yeah.
and excited. Actually, I'm going to be down in Oklahoma in a week at headquarters.
No, very cool.
Um, and so just got a lot going on. And my kids are 11, 13, and 15, all flipping up in age this summer. And so I'm just working hard, trying to raise my family well. And, the older you get, the more you pray for your family. It's amazing. Like when you're younger, I mean, you pray for your wife and, you kind of pray, but the older you get, the more I just feel a burden for my family and to pray for them. So things are going well. It's just a lot of work. I'm just working and raising kids.
That is
That's the question.
fantastic.
That's the answer.
Well, that sounds a lot like what I'm doing, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I got 3 adult kids, 1 in high school, my wife, and we're trying to. I'm working for the IT company I work for, the Nine Minds. They're also a sponsor on this podcast, so shout out to the Nine Minds if you need IT help. The nineminds.com. So yeah, there's a plug for them. But I had you on. You and I have been friends for going on 2 years now. We met back in
Yeah.
Kentucky at the Fight Laugh Feast.
And that's 2023, wasn't it?
Well, and we technically met there in person, but I had you
Yeah.
on the podcast
Before that,
before
yeah.
that because we were. I wanted to find out who you were, and your
Yeah.
first episode we talked about. You wrote an article about wine and communion, and you just lost your mind on the podcast that first time I had you on. I just sat back and just like just let you go, and I was like,
Sounds like I need to re-listen to that one.
Yeah,
That was when I was in the big controversy. I tweeted out something like, if you're taking communion from your pastor who's serving you grape juice, you're being effeminate or something like that.
Yeah. It was a
It was
full-blown
definitely a tweet that needed a little context for sure. Not gonna, but
See,
the
you've
point
gotten
was
wiser.
made.
You've gotten
The
wiser.
point was made. No, I still would have done it probably the same way.
Yeah, probably.
Because if you would have tweeted it with the context, no one would have really cared.
Yeah, no, because
and everything. So.
it got you got the traction you wanted. I mean, you were on my podcast for goodness sakes.
Yeah. But that's a good topic. I'm ready to talk about it again.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I brought you on is we're about a month out, a little over a month away from Business Maker National Conference in the big city of Dallas, Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
Promised land.
Promised land. You're originally from Texas.
Yep.
See, my dad would have loved you because he was from Texas, and so he would have said, "Man, Gabe's the man." So I wanted to have you just on to talk about what in the world is the Business Maker National Conference. What is Business Maker Network? What is it that we're trying to achieve and accomplish through the idea of commerce and businesses and advancing the kingdom of Jesus?
Yeah. So, I mean, this goes back to the garden. I mean, God um, specifically called men to go out and to till the garden. He specifically called men to go out of the house and work. And so this is, and part of what's happened here in America is we got a couple competing worldviews that are changing the nature of how we think about business and how we think about making money and how we think about just the work outside of our house kind of thing. And so we really as Christians need to recover the glory of work and the wisdom of making money. It's been, at least in my growing up phase as a Christian in the church, most of the sermons and exhortations I heard around work and making money were kind of discouraging, or kind of, I would leave the church thinking, I have all these ambitions, and yeah, making money is one of them, but I want to do big things. Of course, making money is doing big things too, but I would leave almost kind of either discouraged or kind of not motivated or not encouraged by my by the church on going out and trying to do big things with our business. I mean, God, um, I mean, covenantal faithfulness. One of the, we believe that God will bless us to 1,000 generations. We believe that God is a God of covenants, and He covenants with His people, and that means, included in the context of covenanting, that He'll bless us to 1,000 generations. I mean, this is basic Exodus and Deuteronomy language. If you obey me, I'll bless you to 1,000 generations. If you disobey me, I'll curse you to the third and fourth generation. And any Christian mom or dad wants their kids to be more faithful, wants their kids to be more trusting in the Lord, wants their kids to love Jesus more than you do and do better things than you. That's that's a shorthand way of talking about covenantal faithfulness and a covenantal family, is that I want my kids to be better Christians than me. I want them to trust in God better than me. I want them to get on their knees better than me. I want them to, take the businesses that I hopefully can pass down to them and make more money off these businesses. And which means that, and this is, I reject the health and wellness gospel. I reject the vendor, put a quarter in and get a dollar out kind of vendor relationship with God. But I think covenantal faithfulness, I believe that God intends think about if God just blessed you to 10 generations and they're all faithful, loving Jesus, what that would mean. Well, if they're faithful, loving Jesus, and they're building off your shoulders, they're going to be richer spiritually. They're going to be richer, and probably even materially. Not all the time is that going to happen, but another way of thinking about this, I might have said this on your podcast before, but my mom and dad were able to help me with a house, buy my first house. Me and my wife bought our first house back in 2005 or six or something like that, 6 or 7. And my mom and dad bought their first house when they were in their 40s, and they did it all by themselves. I got help. And then, but just imagine, like, grandpa gives dad a car. Dad gives me a house. I give my kids a house without a mortgage. Yeah. It's like, imagine the cascading covenantal wealth that builds up over time. Come on. Yeah. Because you guys are just setting them up, and you're trying to be, and of course you want to reject, raising your kids in such a way where they're brats and where they're spoiled and all that stuff. Right. That should be very easy to do if you're a parent. For some reason, it's difficult for us the wealthy parents don't know how to raise a generation that's hungry and that wants God more, not less, kind of thing. So there's definitely some ditches and temptations there. But over time, I want us to think more covenantally about our businesses and how we impact America. So here we go. We keep going. We're going to talk about communion here in a minute. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it.
But one of the things that I think happened in my dad's generation, my dad's parents came through the Great Depression. And, the Great Depression, work was hard, money was hard, getting food was hard. I mean, it was a really difficult time. Yep. And so my dad, I think, was in my dad's generation, not everybody falls in this category, but my dad's generation was not very entrepreneurially motivated.
They're just
high risk.
They were trying to stay,
that's right.
Just stay above water.
That's right. Yeah. They wanted to work with a pension and retirement, and they wanted all that set up
That's because it
for
was
them. They
set up in
want
such a way because that was what was preached. And I think on top of that, and we can this is and I'm newly converted into this worldview, but I mean, we were primarily for the last 140 years preached to the dispensational worldview that Jesus is going to come take us off the planet, and why work to preserve
Yeah.
and leave a legacy if we're going to just be taken out, right? And
Yeah.
and not really leave it. And so what we've done is we handed it all to the pagans and to the crazy people and just said, hey,
That's
you
right.
guys handle it because we're leaving, right? We're
hmm
leaving, and
hmm
so that goes
hmm
sideways really quick if you don't lay out proper eschatology. And I think that's
Yep.
what we're
That's right.
seeing today is because we're
That's right.
reaping that worldview.
Yeah. No, that's right. And so we want to, I think things need to change big time for Christian business leaders. We need to we've been, I think, for so long, put our light under a bushel. God gives leaders responsibility. He gives them authority. He gives them at various levels. Dad, you got new responsibility. Dad, you got new authority. Dad, you're raising kids. God's giving you kids. Like, a business CEO, God gave him a business. He gave him 200 employees. He gave him, and so, but with that comes great responsibility. And what we've done is we've hidden a lot of that responsibility and a lot of the opportunity to have a greater impact under a bushel. We've been, I think, almost scared to handle God's blessings well.
Yep.
Uh, and I mean, COVID's always a great example right now to be a backdrop on how we should be thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, you know, if let's say, you know, I don't know, 5,000 business leaders nationwide, Christian business leaders stood up in COVID and said, we're not shutting down our businesses. We're not requiring employees to work from home. We're not requiring masking. And then they just say to the governments around them, just say, come and get us, come and get us. Like it would have totally fixed our COVID problem. Same thing in the church. Church would have done the same thing, would have fixed
Yep.
the COVID problem too.
Yep. Every organization faces threats, digital, strategic, human, but your team doesn't have to face it alone. At the Nine Minds Group, we blend elite cybersecurity expertise with practical business strategy to protect what matters most: your data, your people, and your reputation. We partner with you to assess risk, strengthen defenses, and build a secure foundation for growth, because your smart security isn't just technology, it's peace of mind.
Working with Nine Minds, they bring high quality technical resources to bear. We're the team that you want to bring in if your technology is holding your business back instead of accelerating the growth that you want to see from your business.
You will get top-notch professional service from us. You will get personalized service from us.
We're going to work to understand your business. Reach out and schedule your consultation, and let's get started.
Visit the9minds.com. That's THENINEMINDS.com. The9minds.com.
But that's why we're building a business network, an actual Christian network. So if we have to stand up, we can stand up together against tyranny, and we can back each other in lawsuits and back each other in the fight, and just be there for each other. If one business, sticks their neck up, we're all sticking our necks up, kind of thing. So, the Christian economy, the economy used to be Christian. It used to be owned by Christians, just like America used to be owned by Christians. And now we're in a situation where it needs to be redeemed and taken back. And so that's what I hope we're going to or that's what the vision I hope we're going to learn from at our business makers conference in Dallas is that don't walk away being guilty that God has given you authority, power, and money.
Mm-hmm.
Don't walk away feeling guilty that you want to do big things for the kingdom of God. I think your Father in heaven wants you to do big things. Doesn't mean he's going to all the time bless you to the extent that you're dreaming or thinking of or praying to.
Sure.
But I mean, think of your own relationship with your son. You want your son to do big things, and of course, some things you might be like, that might be a little dangerous for my son. I don't know if he can handle that. Whatever, that's how your father thinks.
Yeah.
Let him make those decisions.
100%.
But you want your son to do great things, and same for our Father in heaven. He looks down at us, and man, he rejoices over us. We probably have more of introspective relationship with our Father in heaven than we should,
Mm-hmm.
where we're constantly feeling like we need to appease God, or constantly feeling like we need to ask for forgiveness, which we need to confess our sins regularly. But we have this, instead of this joyful relationship with our Father, we have this tenuous relationship with our Father.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole worldview just needs to change. And it affects everything. Our relationship with God affects everything. And particularly, we want to be hammering on Christian business leaders to get courageous, get wisdom through wealth, get and the glory of working for your Father in heaven.
Hey everybody, are you looking for a workout that actually fits your schedule? Well, check out HOTWORX Bartlesville. It's open 24/7 with virtually instructed workouts and infrared saunas. Oh my goodness, I am obsessed with this. Burn calories, build strength, and detox, all in just 15 to 45 minutes. Listen, there's no crowds, no excuses, just results. Join HOTWORX Bartlesville today and feel the difference. Give them a call today and talk to their friendly staff at 918-213-0610, or stop by and check it out for yourself at 2321 Southeast Adams Boulevard, right here in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. HOTWORX Bartlesville. Hey, does financial planning have you feel as if you're in the weeds? Well, the good folks at Revo Financial can help you get out of the forest and onto a clear path that works best for your family. Get in touch with them at revofinancial.com. That's revofinancial.com. Hey, my friends, if you're passing through Copan, Oklahoma, make sure and stop by Copan Restaurant and Truckstop. It's a place for great food, hot coffee, and friendly faces that make you feel right at home. Whether you're a local or a trucker on the road, it's a stop you can count on. Copan Restaurant and Truckstop. Give them a call, 918-532-4666. Copan Restaurant and Truckstop. Good food, good people in Copan, Oklahoma. Yeah. Oh man, I love that. That's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about is the idea that Christians should be some of the most joy-filled people, that we step into every space that we go into. We should not go in looking like my dad used to say this. Most Christians look like they were weaned on dill pickles. And so we have this entire mindset that there should be joy, there should be we should conquer rooms for the glory of God and change those things. Because that's what he's called us to do, and that's the direction he wants us to live and to be in. And I love that your mindset is one that says I want to take back the ground that's been forfeited. Because that's the reality, whether we know it or not. Like our parents, grandparents, they've to some degree forfeited ground, and I think it's time for us as believers in Christ to take back that ground for the glory of God. And it doesn't mean that we become this, you already said it, the health, wealth, and prosperity folks. That's not us. That's not the direction we're trying to go to. But the idea of wealth and having money is not evil. It's not wrong. And if biblical Christians are holding on to this wealth, we should be using it to advance the kingdom, see Christ made much of, and spread that globally. And I think it's huge.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just also to think through our previous generation, and I think a lot of them would probably admit some of the things that we said too, but also the previous generation in a lot of ways. At least my dad was some level first generation Christian. I believe Noni and Papa are in heaven for sure, but like some level, like really plowing a road and paving what a Christian family should look like kind of thing. He's first generation. So I think that they were plowing and paving ways and laying foundations that we didn't have to lay.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I hope same thing for my kids. I hope like they get to build the walls instead of laying the foundation, or they get to put on the roof or whatever instead of laying the foundation.
Yeah.
But that's
we
part
gotta have
of what
a long
it means
view.
to.
I think we do
that's
not
right.
have a long view of these things. And once again, it's back to eschatology. But man, if we have a long view of what Christ has laid for us to do, and we play our part well, like we win. Like I think about Noah. He preached for 120 years, right? He's preaching, judgment's coming. Nobody but his family got in the boat. but nobody says he was a failure.
No.
Nobody
Yeah,
says he
that's
was
right.
a failure because he did what, number one, he did what God told him to do, number one. And number
Yeah.
two, he took his family with him. And so, man, the brother was not a failure. He was an absolute success. So, yeah, 100%. Sorry, I'm on a little tangent there.
No, and I think part of one of the reasons why we structure the conference the way we're doing it is, I got three companies that are going to talk about how to basically capital campaign, how to raise money, various tactics, various ways of doing this. And actually, these three companies are doing that. So they're going to talk about how they're doing it. They're all three different companies. We got a panel of lawyers that I'm working on talking about business law and stuff. Most business conferences that you go to, generally speaking, it's just another sales conference where they're trying to sell the audience on new software, new sales strategies, new marketing, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I want this conference to be the kind of business conference that you come to and you really grow on how to be a better business leader. You really make connections that'll help your business, and you walk away with decisions you can make in the next week, next 6 months to make what you're doing more successful. I can't promise that. I can't promise that I don't want to oversell and underdeliver on what we're doing, but we're trying to make this conference the kind of conference that will impact your family for generations to come. And I mean, that's, we got to change. I mean, I'm always, I'm in the conference world too with what I do with Fight Laugh Feast conference and other things. I got a health and fitness summit up here in Moscow at the end of March. And so I got a lot of I'm in the conference world, and I constantly look at the conference world as like it's become so gimmicky and so salesy and so shallow
100%.
in a lot of ways
that
we got to recover. I mean, I think the nice thing about a conference is like you could go in 2 days, pack in, focus, get built up, learn a bunch of stuff, and then go back home. Especially for business leaders, it's nice to be able to do that for 2 days versus like maybe doing some sort of university class for 6 months or whatever. So the conference is a great boot camp, and that's what we're trying to do with our Fight Laugh Feast family conference that we do with our business makers conference. It's like, come in, let's get packed in, let's make this happen.
Which I would say, if you've not been to the Fight Laugh Feast conference, I've been twice, and it's fantastic. It literally changed my whole. And you're doing what you're saying you're doing. You changed my whole perspective of conferences. I've been to conferences a ton over my life, and what you guys are doing just at Fight Laugh Feast. If you're doing anything like you're going to do, like you did at Fight Laugh Feast at the Business Maker, I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it and how that's going to play out.
I had a friend, him and his wife were at a conference just last week, and he texted me. He's like, "My wife told me to tell you that you've ruined conferences for her." In a good way. It's like, I can't go to any other conference except for the Fight Laugh Feast conference. So I'm like, all right.
Okay, so let's do this real quick. Let's just so if somebody's considering coming to the Business Maker conference in Dallas, give them sort of kind of a 30,000 foot view. What should they expect when they get on the ground?
Yeah. So in our conference world, we start off all our conferences with beer and psalms. And so we just have kind of like a reception Tuesday night. It's a great opportunity also just to build fellowship for the conference and to introduce people to each other faster and get everyone to get to know each other better. So it's just kind of a reception, some beer, some drink, some hors d'oeuvres, some little food, and then excuse me, and then some singing, some worship. And so that's Tuesday night, and then basically all day Wednesday and Thursday is just talks, and we want to be very efficient with our time. We want to honor the business leaders that are coming, and so basically we got talks, and I try to structure it in a way where it's not a drowsy conference, but it's a very engaged conference. We switch things up. We do things very differently, as you know, Caleb, and then guys like Caleb will be speaking. We got guys like C.R. Wiley, Michael Foster. Got some great CEOs. CEO Andrew Krapschitz of Red Balloon will be speaking. We got just a whole crew of business leaders and pastors that I think are very helpful, have been very helpful to me. That's one of the reasons why they're all there. And I think will be very helpful to the leaders that are coming. And we want, our network too. I can't express this enough too. Like when I say business leader, I'm talking about an employee, or I'm talking about an entrepreneur. I'm kind of talking about anybody who's really engaged in the business world with the business mindset, was, I want employees to get better where God has them. I want entrepreneurs to get better with all the ups and downs that come with being an entrepreneur. I want CEOs to be engaged. And so we want the whole economy at our conference, and we're tailoring everything we're doing in that direction.
Love it. I love it. So so in Dallas, where is the conference going to be held?
Yeah, it's just right off of 635 and 75 at Lakepointe Church. Pastor Josh Howerton's one of his campuses.
Yep.
And it's right on the corner, basically, of 635 and 75. Everyone should pretty much know where that's at.
Yep.
Some good hotels right by, some good food by. And so that's where we'll be Tuesday night. We could be in Fort Worth. I haven't figured out where we're going to meet for the kind of hang time and reception, fellowship time. But Tuesday night could be in Fort Worth or in Dallas. But everything's going to be in Dallas and on Wednesday and Thursday and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. I love the hometown. I grew up in an hour north on 75 in Denison, Texas. You just go straight north. And right before that Oklahoma border, we were the first line of defense. We were border patrol for Okies coming over. So,
well, this Okie, this Wyoming transplant into Oklahoma is coming south, and I'm going to be there, and I can't wait. It's going to be a good time, fellowship. If somebody's interested in wanting to know more about just the Business Maker Network, maybe the conference, but also the network, where do they need to go? What sort of describe what that looks like to be a part of that?
Yeah, so the Business Makers Network is just a Christian business network. It is a membership cost network. It's a membership network, and we started this network to bring Christian business leaders together to help build economic development in the church with companies that are connected to the church, with companies that are basically purpose. I hate to use this term, but really purpose-driven businesses that understand we need to build the Christian economy. And then lastly, we started the network because we want to engage in and use our influence for political purposes. This goes back to business leaders have put their light under a bushel. And one of the ways we as a network are going to be engaged is helping with political influence. I mean, a CEO is going to have way more influence when he talks to the mayor, when he talks to the governor, when he talks to your legislators than you as yourself would. And so we need to use our influence that God has given us. God has given it as a real gift, and we need to use it for the good of our city, for the good of our church, for the good of our state, and for the good of our nation. And so that's the gist of what it means to join the Business Makers Network. We have an app that facilitates communication and chat. We have our national conference, and we do regional summits. And then we're working on some other events and stuff that'll be helpful and everything. But you basically join a whole network of Christians who are excited about engaging their business with the world and with the church and with and in the political with political influence. So that's kind of businessmakers.network is the website, and then you can go and sign up for the conference also. You don't have to be part of the network to come to the conference, but if you obviously join the network, there's a discount as a member to come to the conference and everything.
Yeah, I love it. This is something I have been trying to harp on over the last several years. Is I love seeing Christians step into different spaces and don't apologize for who they are. Don't try to kowtow to the authorities that are in place that don't want them to talk about Jesus. I mean, Paul tells us in Romans that we are to be unashamed of the gospel. We have no qualms about that, and I love that you're standing firm on the gospel and you want to see Jesus made much of. And so I'm grateful to the Lord for your leadership and what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to do, because it's refreshing, and we need more guys to step up and say, okay, now's the time. This is we got to do it. We've got a little bit of a reprieve. We don't have a dictator as our leader.
Well, I'm not going to scare people into joining the network, but here's a real possibility.
Yeah.
If the Democrats take over the president next go around, they take over, they could take over Congress. I don't know, the Senate, kind of thing. If we just got one sleepy demon out of the White House. And I have no doubt 7 demons are coming back. And not saying that the Republican Party is a Christian party. I mean, the Republican Party's got issues, but it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, the Democrats just, Joe Biden was not barely alive. He was awful to Christians, arresting pro-lifers, attacking them. Literally, yeah.
Putting them in prison.
Yeah, January 6ers, he was awful. I mean, he was just awful on so many of this. Well, like they're going to get back in office, and they're that much more mad because our Supreme Court has ended Roe v. Wade. The Trump has like killed illegal immigration. I mean, there's so many things that have happened that the Democrats are going to turn around and they're going to come right after us.
I mean, we saw.
I think even more importantly. Yeah, and I think even more importantly, like joining a business network like this, like we got to bind together in real ways for the fight that's coming. I think these next 20 to 40 years of politics in America are going to be rocky. Yeah. And so, having real identification with one another, real connection with each other is going to be even more important than ever. So.
And I'll say the network. I'm part of the network, and there is active communication inside of the network's page, and it's got great access to things, and people are talking about things in real time that can help. And so I think it's super super amazing. But I see just real quick as we end this thing, we saw just a few months or just a few weeks ago what they want to do to churches. They ransacked that church up in Minneapolis, and like they're in the middle of worship service, and singing and the preaching is being proclaimed, and these crazy people run through the church, and I was just like, and it was wild because so many Christians were like, they were just like had this shock in their face, and I was like, we need to be thinking about that reality because that's what they want to do. They want to run us down. They want to shut us down. And Christians need to be vocal. And the ultimate litmus test for this is are we sharing the gospel? Because a transformed heart is a transformed life. And I think that's our MO is to preach the gospel. But we've got to band together and encourage one another and help one another along. And I think that's what you're doing with this conference. So what's the dates? Give us the dates for the conference.
April 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's in the middle of the work week. We're working, so we need to work. And it's not on the weekend, so it's not playtime away from the family. It's time to go to a conference and keep the middle of the week a work time for our conference and everything. We want to do real business and we want to grow. So April 7th, 8th, and 9th in Dallas, Texas. And of course, you can fly into Fort Worth or drive. It's I'll be flying from Idaho, but it'll be right after Easter. So it's right after Easter Sunday. Go celebrate and then come out to Dallas to get going. Yeah,
I love it, man. Well, I appreciate you taking time to talk to us and to share what's going on. I believe this is a great thing to do. So thank you, brother, for being a part of this.
Thank you, Caleb. Look forward to you speaking at the conference too, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.